Baltimore Ravens, man. The Baltimore Ravens continue to disappoint me year in and year out. But even though they were in the chance to win this game, even though Lamar Jackson played his ass off and arguably outplayed Josh Allen, it doesn't change the fact of his turnovers. It doesn't change the fact of his bad interception, whether it was timing or not. You still gave the ball away, arm punt, whatever. It doesn't change the fact that he was holding the football very loosely, and the fumble really fell on his shoulders very roughly. Derrick Henry, again, when you don't give Derrick Henry the ball 20 times, the Ravens lose. Derrick Henry touched the ball 16 times. When Derrick Henry doesn't run for 90 yards, the Ravens lose. Derrick Henry ran for 84 yards. Your leading receiver was Isaiah Likely. I kind of think Baltimore needs one more weapon. I really think they do. And of course, not having Zay Flowers was very tough. It was very, very tough. He's missing he missed the 2024 playoffs. What's it called? With the knee injury that he suffered in the regular season finale. And that sucks, because I think Zay Flowers is really special. I thought Zay Flowers at Boston College was very good. That was my zipper scraping up on the chair. I didn't just pass gas on the show, guys. Zay Flowers was great at Boston College. And I believe he's a great option for Lamar Jackson. I like Rashad Bateman. I love the fact that Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely are now having this kind of best tight end tandem in the league type of vibe. Two of your three top receivers were your tight ends, not only in Isaiah Likely, but Mark Andrews. And, we'll have some words about Mark Andrews here in a minute and how they, weren't able to come away with this one. And it was tough, right? Because even though you have all those turnovers, Lamar still leaves the field. Lamar still delivered his final play out of his throwing arm with a chance for them to tie it. And it's not his fault that Mark Andrews dropped the ball. It's not. Mark Andrews has had 321 connections with Lamar Jackson. That's more than 361 connections between the two of him. That's double more than any other receiver Lamar Jackson's thrown to. Would you know that Mark Andrews has not fumbled since 2019? That's how rare it was. Rarefied air. To know that it came down to literally a matter of plays. And that's this league, right? It's a game of inches. It's a game of situations. And unfortunately, the Ravens just didn't perform in those big moments. The Bills haven't lost at home all year. They are now 10-0, including the postseason. And, this was a battle of MVP quarterbacks. I did clearly think that Lamar was the better one here, although Josh did have his fair share of great plays as well. I said that turnovers and the weather could decide this game, and it very much so looked like that it did. Baltimore with the best rushing offense coming in. So, I was really going to be shocked if the team doesn't win it all, or at least go. They get stopped in the divisional round, and that's a very big disappointment for them. But Derrick Henry had a really big, wide-open drop on the first drive by Baltimore, but Lamar said, no problem. I'll deliver some strikes to Isaiah Likely and then Bateman for the touchdown, and that's what they did. Buffalo comes out with an 11-play touchdown drive, 9 of those plays being runs, and you got to love that Buffalo has found such a great offensive system. The fact that James Cook is exploding, the fact that Josh Allen complements him very well, not only as a passer, but a rusher too. And I kept an eye on that all game. I was like, okay, all right, but Buffalo's going to play Ravens game a little bit. And sure enough, when you come out and James Cook has 17 carries for 67 yards, when Josh Allen has 2 rushing touchdowns, albeit it's 10 carries for 20 yards, when they come out and they put up 147 rushing yards compared to 176 for the Ravens, the fact that Ravens put up 416 total yards and Buffalo was still able to escape with the win. Buffalo gave up 7 yards per play and still escaped with the win. So that's not very sustainable, right? And it shows you that even though the Ravens did things bad, when it came down to it, they still had a chance to win the football game. But when you fumble twice and you throw an ugly pick and you lose the time of possession battle and you have more penalties and you take more sacks, oddly enough, Baltimore didn't punt in this game. That is going to be the recipe for you to not be able to get out of the divisional round. Very early in this game, Baltimore became the first team ever to have a 1,000-yard and a 2,000-yard rusher. It includes regular and postseason for Lamar and Derrick Henry. Lamar had 1,000. Henry had over 2,000 in terms of rushing yards this year. And we know, again, best rushing attack in the NFL. And then Buffalo is the only team ever with 30-plus passing and 30-plus rushing touchdowns each in a season for a team collectively. So it was a truly special matchup, albeit, they've been eliminated in the last 3 divisional matchups, talking about Buffalo. First AFC Championship game since 2020. And Lamar throwing the interception again. It was just a lot of rare things and mistakes that didn't really happen that much in the season. Third interception in the last 13 games for Lamar Jackson. Again, he had a 10-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio this year. Buffalo didn't do anything with it, but then he gets strip sack. Lamar does and almost gets ran back. And now Lamar Jackson has 4 postseason games with 2+ turnovers in 8 playoff starts. It's bad. Lamar Jackson is a sub 500 quarterback in the playoffs. And if he wins, almost when he wins a third MVP, that's going to rarefy his air even more, but also not nullify the fact that he can't get it done in the playoffs when it matters most. Again, 4 postseason games with 2+ turnovers in 8 starts. Buffalo's third touchdown drive, 7 rushes, 2 passes, all 21 first half points came off rushing touchdowns. If you told me coming into this game that the Ravens did this, I would have believed you. But Buffalo was taking their play style and just absolutely punishing the Ravens with it, even though they didn't outrush them. They held Derek to under 20 carries, and they held Derek to under 90 yards. And the rest was really history. I mean, Buffalo was kind of forcing Lamar to be a superhero. And, I'm not going to come down and, as a lot of people want to say, oh, we're laying it all at Lamar Jackson's feet. This is all him. His 2 turnovers win the first half. Again, he left the field doing everything right. The final pass he threw in the game to Mark Andrews was great. Was it perfect? No. But Andrews bobbled it about 2 or 3 times before he dropped it. That's not on Lamar. It's not. They were shutting down Derrick Henry, which is a great testament to what Buffalo was able to do. And then you make Lamar kind of the leading rusher at that certain point in the game. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He wasn't your leading rusher, but at one point, Lamar was really starting to open things up in the rush game. Now, again, he only had 6 carries as well. You have 6, 12 plus 2, 24. 6, 12 plus 2, 14. You ran the ball 30 times in this game for 176 yards. So that's not horrible. It was actually fairly solid, but it wasn't timely, good situational, efficient runs. And again, you didn't make Derrick Henry enough of a compliment in this game. You didn't make him enough of a priority. And that is a big testament to the Bills. Don't get me wrong there. But the Ravens were 11-0 when Derrick Henry has 90+ rushing yards. And here he came in the third quarter. But I knew Baltimore couldn't win without Derrick's presence. He finally was able to punch it in. Baltimore finally enforcing that run game, making it a 21-19 game. Outgaining Baltimore by 100 yards and 9 points in the third quarter, which is a really pivotal point for Baltimore in this one. And it was taking them a while to get going offensively until Derrick Henry became unleashed. Josh Allen had no rushes in the third quarter, which I thought kind of could have shot the Bills in the foot, and it just about did. We really did get robbed of a great overtime divisional game into which Lamar and the Ravens could have won. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, if, whatever, right? Mark Andrews did drop the pass. You'll never win a playoff game with 3 turnovers. I don't care who you are. And that's a problem for Lamar. That is a problem for Baltimore. The Bills went 5 drives with 1 touchdown in the red zone versus the Broncos. They had 4 drives with 3 touchdowns against Baltimore, with the only non-touchdown being a field goal. So they scored every time they got in range. I thought it was a pretty smart decision to kick it and go up by 8, because if you don't, you leave it by, you're only up by 5. Baltimore is able to take the 1-point lead with a touchdown. You would have went for 2 to make it a 3-point game, to where you have to score a touchdown or at least get a field goal to tie it. You can't take the win easily. So nice situational kind of, chess match, chess versus checkers kind of thing there when the game came down to it. The Ravens did their job. Again, they did their job to score a touchdown. Mark Andrews bobbles a 2-point conversion. What a heartbreaker for Baltimore. Mark Andrews has had 4 drops all year. He had 2 in just this game. And obviously the fumble. Again, Lamar to Andrews, it's happened 361 times successfully. That's double more than any other receiver Lamar's thrown to. And Mark Andrews fumbles for the first time in 5-6 years. The fans can't help that. The franchise can't help that. Lamar can't help that. And Mark Andrews can't help that. But when you make one mistake every 5-6 years to the magnitude of a fumble, you got to give the guy some slack. It's still sickening, because again, we feel like we're robbed of an overtime game between these two great teams, which should have been the AFC Championship, but it is what it is. The rest is to be desired. So yet again, when Baltimore cannot get the offense rolling, when they cannot get Derrick Henry going, they can't get the offense rolling. We saw it a couple times this year. And when they finally decided to use Derrick Henry correctly in the midst of this season, they were freaking unstoppable. I want to hear y'all get in the comments. Let me know what you think of the Baltimore Ravens losing to the Buffalo Bills. Give me some takeaways on the divisional round down in the comments.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.